Arthur's a champ, man. The last 2 days, he's got 2 directs. He prospected a guy at the Valet yesterday at Momentum Monday, invited him to an office in LA, coded the guy in a one-on-one. So the business works if you work. It works when you put in the work. I'll tell you guys real briefly my story again in case you guys forgot, but I came in from Moreno Valley in debt, $13,000, living paycheck to paycheck, didn't know how to tie a tie, pants sagging, just didn't know nothing about money. I had a little bit of sales experience with ADT, but I'm naturally a very shy introvert. I'm good maybe one-on-one, but in a crowd, not so good. I thought I could try to learn how to become more social. I took a public speaking course at Norco campus. I went there one day and dropped out of the class because I was terrified to talk to people. I hated English. It was the only subject I ever got, that I got D's in school. Everything else was straight A's. Actually, no, I did get a D in wood shop because there was 3 projects, and if you only got 2 done, you got a 66%. And I didn't finish my 3rd one to get the A to get straight. It's the only D only D I got, and the rest were straight A's through middle school, high school. So I'm smart, but because I was smart, school came easy. So I still hung around the bad kids. I still got into a lot, a lot of trouble. A lot of my friends dropped out of high school. I did just as much bad stuff. Went to class less than them. They dropped out, and I graduated with honors pretty much. I went on to community college and was on the dean's list. But I was so undecided with where I was going in my life. I took general classes. I was going to maybe transfer to university, and I had conversation after conversation with my mom just about what do I want to do? What do I want to do? What am I going to be? Because when I go to school, and I was really good in science and math and all this stuff, but I go to biology class, I do good on it, but I'm like, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do? Be a doctor? Right? So from an early age, though, even though I was smart, I was very, I figured it out. Like, you got to make money, right? I figured out you got to make money. I figured out how to I was kind of a natural entrepreneur. I don't know where I got that from, but I got it. I don't know where I got it, but I got it. Not from my parents, exactly. So it was a situation where I knew I was going to find something at some point, but just what and when. And so, of all places, Victoria's Secret. I worked there seasonal. My mom got me a job at Victoria's Secret. She was the manager at the Moreno Valley Mall, right? She got me a job at the Galleria. I was a restaurant cook, and I remember going, I'm working Friday, Saturday nights. I'm sending the other cooks home 20 minutes before close, and a party of 20 comes in. You've already shut off the fryer. You clean the grease traps. You change all the containers. And you got to, then they want to order up the whole menu. So just the hours are all messed up and different things or whatever. And so, and I wasn't in a good part of town over there too. I remember walking home and all of a sudden a car pulls up next to me on Frederick and guys pull out with a gun like, give me your cell phone and your wallet. And I literally ran and my shoes flew off my feet. I ran so fast. My dress shoes, black dress shoes, flew off my feet. I ran so fast. Back to the restaurant.
Wow.
And literally, I went to the restaurant with no, my feet left my shoes. I ran so fast, my shoes flew off my feet. And so anyway, a combination of things. And so my mom gets me a job at Victoria's Secret as a stock boy, right? In the fragrance department, not lingerie, in the fragrance department. So I know all the lotions and potions and stuff. This was 2001, so the big ones were Amber Romance and Love Spell and all those ones, right? And so, what? Pear Glaze, and yeah, the little angel ones or whatever they had, the little heavenly, yeah, the little old the red bottles, the old grandma ones or whatever. The grandma scents. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that it smells like. You're that's my grandma, right? You know what I'm talking about? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, so I did all that, and it was seasonal. I was there maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
I was there 3 months, and I left there. I still remember the managers, because the managers were actually in the business now. Elias's wife, Anita was one of my managers. And then the other manager was Diana. And so Diana's husband, Jesus, calls me up when I'm at, so fast forward, I left Victoria's Secret, went to work for ADT, was there for 3 years, got in a management position, but again, pants sagging, another tie, in debt, check to check, and I was running a Riverside location just right here off of Pearson 91. And so he calls me up and goes, hey, we met before, but I don't know if you remember me, long story short, my wife, Diana, was your old manager. Yeah, okay, yeah, I think so, whatever. We met at like a birthday party for someone.
It was a bye-bye party for Anita.
For Anita at the Dragon House or something in Moreno Valley or whatever it was. The one over there. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Off of Alessandro or something?
Yeah.
That's where it was at. And so I very briefly remembered that. But I said, okay, yeah. So he's like, hey, I work for the company. We're expanding. We're looking for good people. And I immediately told him, I said, thanks, but no thanks. And I said, I'm 26 years old. I'm running an ADT brand. I'm a branch manager. I'm making 50 grand. Really, my best year, I think, on a W-2 was like 44, 46. But 50 just sounds official, right? Making 50 grand a year. I just bought a condo in Corona. And when you come from Moreno Valley and you buy a condo in Corona, you feel like you're doing big things in life, right? I mean, just to put it bluntly. I mean, I remember exactly where I was at. This conversation, I was right in front of my condo on the driveway. It's surrounded by palm trees. The pool's right across there. It's right off McKinley and Corona. It's a beautiful little condo, a little complex right there. My mom actually lived in there too for a little while. And me and my brother had bought it. And so anyway, I was living above my means. I had a brand new Cadillac. And I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. And he literally, and when I tell this story, this is real. He says, Nick, as good as it is right now, it could be 10 times better. I want you to come out, take a look at the company. So he booked me on a one-on-one. I came out to a one-on-one. I met with Guillermo in an office like this, but in an empty office. So right there in that third office, there's 2 chairs. There was 3 chairs, and it was me, Jesus, the guy that called me, and Guillermo. So he set me up on a one-on-one. He leveraged his SMD. So when I started, Guillermo was an SMD with a $100,000 ring. This guy's at $1.5 million ring now, SEVC now.
5 people coming to full-timers meetings.
5 people coming to full-timers and about 20 people at his meeting after the meeting. So this was Guillermo, right? This was Guillermo's team, basically. When we went to the BPM, Dan Charlet was on the same night. Christopher Slayman was a CEO. The Ayrtons were in there. They're now EVCs and CEOs. And then Guillermo, and this was like his meeting after. The meeting after meeting was like this when I first started. So anyway, did a one-on-one. I came back to the BPM. I brought my mom because I got excited about it. I came home, or I went home and I called you, I called you. I wasn't living at home.
I was at the pool when you came and I asked you how to go.
Yeah, how to go, and I had a brochure, right? So they gave me a kit. So when Reggie says, hey, stay after BPM, right? So the 8 speed filters, you guys remember that, right? Yeah. So stay after BPM, pick up information. Yes. He gave me a brochure, little, World Finance Group brochure, and I remember saying, yeah, you know what? It seems good. You guys are making good money, and they're having a meeting, and my mom's like, I want to go. So I brought my mom, I brought my best friend Randy Reiser, who was also a manager at ADT, and I brought my little brother Damien. And we went to the BPM, right? So stayed after, right? All of a sudden their meeting after meeting was the whole office in their own separate meeting. They closed the door. And you as a guest, you're kind of like, all right, well, what's going on? They're like, well, you have an interview tomorrow. So we booked the commit to a follow-up interview. 9 o'clock the next day. We signed our little cards, 9 a.m. We came in and we got started right, so commit to an interview, complete the interview, sign up. We did that. Guillermo came to my condo, wrote my VUL at the time. There was no IUL, wrote my VUL. He did my business plan. He started my prospect list. We started setting up appointments. We started running the business, right? We started running the business. And I'd go out on appointments, and Guillermo lived in a one-bedroom condo with rabbit ears on his TV, above his TV. He didn't pay for cable. His condo payment was like $600,
Yeah.
and he's like making 15, 20 grand, and you know, in a good month or whatever. Had his ring, didn't have his $250,000 yet, and you know, he taught me how to save. He taught me how to save, discipline my savings. I was broke, but I started my plan with, I did a $150 VUL and a $50 a month mutual fund. And that was my financial, that was my, you know, becoming a client, doing my financial strategy. And yeah, a year later I got a return of premium term, and started doing some, started adding to my policy, and doing different things. I did my 3-3-30 basically my first week in the business, because my 3 guests signed up, and then we all became clients, and then we started going out in the field. So they didn't have 3-3-30 back then, but I would have hit it, you know, in the first few days. I started launching my business. So I want you guys to understand something. It is, I came in and I got to work right away. And what it was I saw other examples of success. And so what happens here, you know, in the 57 SMDs that I've promoted since I've been in the company, 57 within my hierarchy, not that I've personally promoted, 12 direct, 57 total, is we have a history of dominating Guillermo's hierarchy. And we haven't been doing that, and I want us to really start to create and develop some team pride. You know, I think it was really evident at this last Momentum Monday. You know, that we really got to put our heads down and really get to work and really build this office up big. Build it big. Knock it out, bud. So I want all of us to really take ownership and take responsibility. I appreciate all the words, man, and you know, I'm all in. You know, I've busted my butt for years to get a team and to get SMDs and get leaders, but it hasn't always been great. There's ups and downs. But I'm in this thing for the long haul. And when I mean the long haul, it's helping every single one of you guys succeed, but you gotta want it bad. I can't want it more than you. You know, it's like, I gotta direct this week. I got business this week. Why not the rest of us? I mean, you really gotta start looking at that stuff. Like, what are you doing every single day to grow your business? How much time is getting wasted in your day that you could be actually putting in work? You know, and I'm guilty of it too, but I mean, I'm guilty of it 13 years later of, you know, putting in so much work that, yeah, I still have days where I'm not the most productive, but shoot, you're nowhere near where I'm at, and yet I'm doing more than you. I'm not even giving it, 100, 1,000%, but you definitely should at your level, right?
Yes.
And I know it's what you do doesn't affect me the way that what you don't do affects you, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't get it going, there's leaders here that are still going to win at a high level. Like, I'm still going to be financially independent. But you got to get it going so that you become financially independent. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
And by the way, by all of us getting after it, we all succeed together, because success is contagious.
That's right.
That's why we talk about associations so much. Like, who are you talking to in Mozone? You're talking to the SMDs, talking to, and what are you talking about? Talking about closing business. You're talking about the next person you're recruiting. You're talking about how many confirmations you got. You're talking about the ones that are showing up, aren't showing up, that you're going to follow up with. What's the conversations like? When you hit an SMD, when you hit the next promotion, right? How much money you're going to have saved, where you're taking your family next vacation after you go make your first 10 grand, or how much that 10 grand you're going to save, when you get 10 grand saved, when you get 20 grand saved, when you get 100 grand saved, when you're going to get $1 million saved. These are the conversations. So, I got back Sunday night. We went out to the Alabama-Arkansas game, the homecoming, and man, you talk about an experience. First of all, Friday we went out to home office. So, picture These are all, I think everyone in that room, everyone that went was 150 grand a year or more income in WG, at least. I think Danny's at like 168. I think he was like the least one. You know, you got Josh, Eric. Oh no. Actually, there was two people that weren't ring earners. There's two guys that weren't ring earners. It was Frank Robles and Coronado Haro, Guillermo's brother. But everyone else was over 150 grand. Well, you picture a room with ring earners, right, in a boardroom at home office, talking to a guy that's kind of, heading up everything, heading up, the company, right? So we're in that board meeting, and then we left there. We went to a steak dinner, like at a steakhouse. I forget the name of it, whatever it was. I put it on the WeChat, right? You guys remember? I don't know if you guys remember the name of it. You guys probably know. It's like called Smoky River or something like that, whatever it was. Okay. You have no pet? No pets?
Can't come to a meeting without you.
Yeah, come no pets. You need no pet too. You guys all got journals and stuff to write with?
Yeah,
All right, make sure you do that. Especially because you're driving like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You want to start taking notes. So we went to dinner. I mean, imagine going to dinner and jumbo shrimp, appetizer, wine or scotch or whatever, whatever you like to drink, beer, whatever, steak, order anything you want off the menu covered by a guy from home office. So expenses paid, right? We leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. We drive on a Mercedes Sprint van, 3.5 hours down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Okay, so we drive out to Tuscaloosa. We get out there. We get a full tour of the Alabama University, all the frat houses, sorority houses. We get to go inside the athletic facility. We go, we get to hear, all the history of Alabama. And if you know anything about Alabama football, they've won 16 national championships, the most in the college sports. Their motto, I want you to write this down: champions go where champions are. So when you become a champion, you'll become more attractive to people that want to be a champion like you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to be an like I got a call today from a guy, Elon Michael, who's been a friend of mine for over 10 years in the business. He's a EBC out in LA. So a guy on his team goes, "Hey, I got something in Corona," and they call me. Why? Because I've made a name for myself in the company, right? Paul got, Paul kind of got referred over here because of that too. And Eduardo did too. Eduardo's a map, actually, from a guy in Chicago. And so, and there's probably others. I can't think of some of the other ones. But anyway, yeah, there are a few other ones. Elizabeth, that's down there. Yeah, so she got referred from a guy in Orange County. So, anyway, champions go where champions are. And it was the whole recruiting philosophy behind Alabama because they're national, they're actually number one in the nation right now. I mean, so anyway, we had this whole tour, we do this whole thing. We get to the stadium, right, for the game. Well, first we buy all the gear, and so Alabama's not my team, but I want to be in the environment. I want to soak it all in. So we get the gear and everything. Brought home some souvenirs for the kids and stuff. And they do this whole thing, whole homecoming parade. We're there for the parade. They do this walk of champions where the buses pull up and there's like 500, probably a couple of thousand people probably just watching the players walk into the stadium and stuff to get ready for the game. So we do that. I got it all on videos. I'll be posting this stuff. I just haven't posted it yet, but I'll post all this stuff. Our tickets are on the field. Right on the field, right there at the end zone, full buffet and everything, access, drinks, a full buffet. From salad bar, fruit to a beef brisket to just everything. Everything you could think of, ice cream, just you name it, they got everything there. Chips and salsa, guacamole, taquitos. Just everything, right? Full food, full everything.
Nice.
The environment there, the environment during the game, unreal. The chants, the way they sing the songs, like 110,000, 108,000 people fill that stadium up. 108,000. And they're all dancing to the beat of the same, tune and first play of the game. So kickoff, return, touchback or whatever. First play, 75-yard touchdown run. First play, the guy coming right at our end zone, right at us, just broke a tackle, cuts it back, and just coming right towards the first play of the game. 7-0, boom, right? So pretty awesome experience, very, very cool experience. Halftime show, the whole thing, you name it. We, again, it's associations, you're there with other, with other people that are building it, that have big base shops and stuff, and I'm like, in all honesty, I want a smaller base, I'm bigger hierarchy, but one of the smaller base shops amongst the people that were there. And so I want to work on that, moving forward here. But, so I get done there, then we have Momentum Monday, right? And then after Momentum Monday, Guillermo's like, hey, EMD's and above got to come to the house. So I go up to the house, and he's got his tailor there, sizes us up for custom shirts, custom suit. I guess he's presenting it to us at a Walt Bowl. He's got, scotch or drinks, hors d'oeuvres, everything like that up at his estate. So we do that whole deal. We're taking headshots for like a banner or something they're putting up. So we took professional pictures. We got suited, sized up for a custom suit. I got the little Burberry lining on the inside, the whole thing. So I tell you all this because this stuff just doesn't happen at a job. You don't get this stuff at a job. They don't do this stuff. I was just telling a couple people that are big college football people, and they're like, what? They're like, I would die to do that. I don't care if it's my team or not. Like, that's freaking awesome, And the guy at home office, he got us set up there because he went there, and then his son is a freshman there, and he's dating a girl who's a sophomore, so she's already been through because he's going through a fraternity or whatever, so he's pledging right now, so he has to do certain things. I'm talking to him about the things he's got to do and stuff. It's crazy. Hey, go wash my car, and he's got to wash the car. Like, hey, wash my car. It's got to be done in 15 minutes. He's got to go out there and wash the freaking dudes. Dudes that tell him. Like all kinds of crazy. I go, what's the crazy stuff? He goes, I don't have to do nothing crazy. He goes, I have to wear these boots, these specific boots every day. He goes, I got to do these different things. He's like, I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, he's a freshman. He's going through all that stuff. But it's the hookups, it's the connections, it's the things that we get to we get to do. And then I got 3 numbers. I didn't get a lot of numbers, but I got 3 numbers just from people out there and that I ran into and different things that I want to just try to expand my business. So I'll always be talking to people, but it's the lifestyle and it's the experiences that you have. Like right now, we have the Tony Robbins thing going on right now. Right, every direct is a family, and every 2,500 points is a family. So you have the next 2 weeks to get that done, to qualify. And so when the dust settles, hopefully, you've made it. I think Guillermo set out a goal to get have 100 qualifiers. Out of 1,000, we want 10%. It's a pretty lofty goal, but I think if enough people are grinding, then it's doable. Maybe 5, 10 people from our team. So. We got to get after it. We got 2 weeks to really, tear it up. We got 2 weeks to qualify for New York. New York trip is only 6 directs and 45,000. Over 3 months, and you go to New York. You and your spouse go to New York, like a week before Christmas or whenever we're going. I don't even know the dates. Some of this stuff
they haven't really set the dates because it was going to be the 18th.
Yeah, so we'll figure out the dates, but even this Alabama thing, I knew I was going, and then the day before I'm like, hey, what do we got to wear? What are the dates? Where are we going? What exactly are we doing? But things come up, and I'm just like, all right, I'm out. Okay, hey, cool, I'm catching a flight, and I'm going. So, but there's always something going when you're out there busting. You qualify for everything.
Last month for recognition.
Last month for Walt Bowl recognition right now. Right, so we have to turn in a sheet for Rising Stars at the end of the month. Who's going to hit 3,330 and be considered a rising star? What's your next promotion and what do you got to do to get there? Right, so we'll talk about some of the stuff on meeting after meeting, but I want you know, my job to you guys is to show you how good this thing is if you know, if you go bust it. Because the reality is I can't do the work for you. You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Guillermo didn't teach me a lot of things, but he just showed me how to win. He showed me that, you know, that he could go win, and that if I did what he did, that I would win too. You know, there was no boot camps. It was just KTPs and BPMs and some one-on-ones in between. That was it. There was no elite academies. There was no inner circles. There was no Momentum Mondays. You know, like, you know, you got to figure this thing out and get it going. Now, I'm here to do whatever you need me to do to help you. I'll go above and beyond, and I have for many years. But something inside of you's got to be sick and tired of where you're at. If most people get trapped in this level of comfort, and it's almost like a dissatisfied comfort level. Like you're dissatisfied, but you're comfortable to where you're like, it's not that great, but I mean, it is what it is, kind of a thing. You're just in that like, and it's like that's the worst place you could ever be in. You need to decide right now that you deserve to be great. You know what I mean? Yeah. You need to decide right now that whatever limitations or things that are holding you back, what you're afraid of, I'm afraid of success. I'm afraid to speak if I actually recruit. I'm afraid I have to come up here and actually talk to people. Shoot, that's part of the growth process. You know, I got a first few recruits when I started. I got 9 directs my first month. And Guillermo was having me during that month when I brought in my mom, my brother. He goes and does his meeting after meeting, puts us in a room like this, and he's like, Nick, you're running it. I'm like, I had no idea what to even talk about or say. So I'm literally like, I was a manager, and so I like to consider myself, you know, a leader. I'm literally like talking like that. Like the people that like know what the hell they're doing, like in WG, and I didn't know nothing. And it's like, hey, you're running it. I'm like, I didn't know what to even say or do or whatever. And he was like he was doing an interview or something, and I'm just up there like, hey, cool.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I like to think I'm a leader. I was a manager I'm still a manager at ADT, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, that was literally, that was my first, like, speaking experience in WG. But, you know, but at the same time, behind the scenes, behind the BPM, like, when you leave here, you put your head down, you gotta go, okay, who's my next recruit? So write down right now, who's the next person you're recruiting right now? Who's your next direct? You already have their name clear in your head? Right? You have 2 or 3 people? Is it 1 person? Is it 10 people? Who's your next direct? Because I can honestly tell you, too many people in here do zeros and you think it's okay. It's not. It's not okay to do 0. It's not okay to do anything less than 3 in a month. It's not okay to be not out on appointments every single week. Who are your next 3 clients? If you're licensed, who are your next 3 clients? If you're not licensed, who are your next 3 KTPs? Write them down. Who are your next 3 KTPs right now? Who are you going to go meet with right now? And by now till Friday, who can you go meet with, or who do you plan on meeting with? From now to Friday. Let me tell you something right now. There's only 2 things you can control, your attitude and your activity. Write that down. Only 2 things you can control, your attitude, your activity. So 1 is, are you fired up? Are you excited? You know where you're going? What drives you? Where do you want to be at in 3 months? Where do you see yourself in 6 months? Talk about that when you're inviting someone. Talk about that when you're talking to friends and family. Man, I'm going to be an SMD. What's that? I'm going to be a broker in this company. I'm going to be running my own office in the next 6 to 12 months. Right? Even if you're working at this office, you'll still be running it. If you're doing training, you're running the office. You're helping this office grow. You're developing yourself as a leader. Right? Aren't there recognition? He's running this office. He's contributing to the growth and success of this branch. You're speaking in there, you're contributing to the growth and success of the branch. This is your office. Don't say, hey, my broker, or hey, the office where I work at. No, my office. We were having this conversation with Gianni yesterday. He put something on Snapchat about the Momentum Monday, and a guy hits him up like, hey, what are you doing these days? And he's like, how do I respond? And I go, so I started typing it in his phone. I'm like, me and a buddy of mine just started a financial firm. We got our own, we just opened up a branch in Corona, right? And so you start talking like what's attractive? Think about it, like speak something that, don't say things that aren't going to be attractive to other people. Be careful in the way you word things. Someone asks you how you're doing, you're like, oh, I'm all right. That's not attractive. You'd be like, man, fired up, better than, shoot, better than ever. So there's a body language, there's a tone of voice, there's a conviction level that you have to have. But, so that's the attitude part. Now the activity part is you getting busy, meaning you got to book activity like nobody's business. There's still people you haven't met with, a lot of them. Stop being a scaredy cat and get in front of the people that you haven't gotten in front of yet. What are you waiting for? So it's like, well, I have friends, but they're this. Talk to your friends' parents, right? If you're young, you probably won't want to talk to your friends anyways. Your friend, right? A loser is a loser. Let's just be real. A loser is a loser, right? You ever heard that expression before? A loser is a loser. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything controversial, but some people are better off, being the way, saying the way they are. If they're skeptical, then shoot. You know what? They're going to probably be broke. Isn't it funny? Always the most skeptical ones are usually the brokest ones.
Yeah.
It's like, so call them out on that. Like, man, you're too broke to be skeptical. What are you talking about? Trying to make more money? Or you have the person that doesn't have a job and you offer them a job and they go, oh, well, no, I'm just going to keep collecting my unemployment.
I don't want to interfere.
Loser. That's a loser. Drop that person off your list and run the other way. Like, seriously. And don't sound so freaking desperate. You know what I mean? Like, don't be desperate, offering this opportunity to people. People are lucky that this is the mentality. If I call Anthony, I'm going, man, out of 7 billion people on planet Earth, Anthony's the luckiest dude in the world. You know why? Because I'm calling him when I could call another 6.999 whatever billion people right now, but I chose to call this dude. Is that your mentality? Think about it. Everyone's looking for an opportunity. Everyone wants in. You got to get AMA aggressive. Guess what? You got family members that aren't coded yet? Why not? Everyone that I know in my family has got a code number.
Yep.
I don't give a crap. Ain't no one coding my family behind my back. They're all coded. These teams that are recruiting a lot of people and getting a lot of people in, they're aggressive on appointment setting. Hey, I'm just gonna pop by. I don't have time. 30 minutes. Well, maybe next week. No, not next week. I need to get it done in the next 2. I need to get it done by this week. I need it. So create a sense of urgency. Write this down. Create a sense of urgency when you're meeting with people. You're talking to people. Create a sense of urgency. So if I'm Jessica right now and I haven't done my 10, have you done your 10 KTPs yet? No. So if I'm Jessica and I haven't done my 10 KTPs yet, or Karen here, I'm going, hey, I'm talking to people I know and go, I got to get my 10, I need to get 10 appointments done. Can I count on you? I need to get them done in the next 2 weeks. I've gotten 3 done, I need 7 more. You'll help me out, right? Awesome. Hey, for it to count for my training, I need you and I need your husband there too. Or I need your wife there too for it to count for part of my 10. That's how you get the spouse there too. It only counts if both you and your husband are there, or you and your wife are there. Right? But create a deadline. If you're recruiting, right? If I'm Cynthia and I'm talking to a prospect, it's like, hey, we're hiring 3 people by Friday. I got 3 positions to fill by Friday. Now it's a sense of urgency. Hey, if you keep your options open, I'm looking for 3, I gotta fill 3 spots by Friday, so when can we meet? Today's Tuesday, man. We got 3 days to get you in here. See how that creates a sense of urgency? Instead of just, when are you free? Or, hey, what's your schedule like the next day or two? Great, that's awesome. But if someone's having to be busy the next day or two, you gotta create a sense of urgency. Hey, you know what? We're looking to fill these spots by Friday. When can I squeeze you in? When can you squeeze this in your schedule? Trust me, it won't be a waste of your time. And if you're not, if you don't plan on doing what you're doing forever, what's your exit strategy? Right? Who has their BFS like on either a hard copy or on a tablet? Okay, so if you are a field trainer, stand up. If you have something and you are a trainer, stand up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, go ahead and sit down. And then there's how many people here total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 16, 18, 21, 22. So man, you know what? So about a week and a half ago, we had 31 people here. We're at 22 now. So who's missing, first of all? Who's missing?
I have a list.
Who?
Jose,
Okay.
Eric, Ramon, Pedro.
That are normally
Crystal and
come.
Crystal and Crystal.
Okay, Crystal and Crystal normally here.
Eddie, Vanessa.
Okay, they're out of state. So, okay, so 4.
Lucy was here the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, Lucy
Okay.
and Sarah.
Sarah.
I put them down because they don't come on Tuesdays.
Both crystals.
Yeah, we said that.
I got them
Okay.
both.
Sorry, I came late.
Karina gonna start coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we gotta get more, a lot more, because we're naming people that are kinda already wishy-washy as it is, that don't show. If they don't show, they're not really in. How many of you are here every single week without faith? All right, good. Then you're the committed ones. We need to find more people like you.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It doesn't work if you're wishy-washy. I'll tell you right now, it will not work. Yeah, but it's a man, people commit to dead-end jobs for 40 years. 40 hours a week for 40 years. This is twice a week. I mean, this is nothing. I was a branch manager at ADT, and I had to drive from Corona to Pomona, and I never missed a pregame. I never missed an event. I never missed a training or a conference call or whatever it was. I was all in because I knew that financial independence was not going to happen anywhere else I was at. My job, ADT, was not going to get me where I wanted to go. It just was not going to happen. So here's what we're going to do. If you have your BFS, or if you were one of the ones that stood up, you're going to go to page, let me pull it up real quick. So who has it? You don't have the original? Okay. We're gonna role play the appointment objections. So who has it? Stand up. Who has it in front of them? So page 13. Stand up. Okay, Anthony, you're gonna. All right. So 1, 2. You have it on your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I need it on something bigger. Something bigger that someone can read it off of. Just 3 of you?
I have mine in
You
the
have it?
report.
Boom, okay, so you have it. Okay, so there's 24 people here, page 13.
I have it too, Dave.
Matt, you have it? Okay, so let's do this.
I have a-
Art, you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of you, you're gonna each grab 4 people. So, actually 3 people. So you 4 right here, Anthony, you four right there. Matt, or Arthur, take Johnny and you three, right here. So Johnny, come up. Cynthia, you're going to take these three, and Matt, you take those three.
Okay, so Art, Keith, and Gianni.
Yep.
Okay.
So go in a separate, like parts of the room here, and we're going to go through all 10 of these. Yep. So one person gives the objection, the other person reads it, and then once you guys go around, everyone says it, then you're going to say it without reading it. You're going to go through it and say it without reading it. You go through each one of these until you feel comfortable. Once the leader feels that you've got it down, then you move to the next one. So we're going to do this for 20 minutes. Okay, ready? Go.
All right, so the first one is going to be, I'm not interested.
I'll give the objection and
Right?
then.
You get that? I'm not interested.
It's gonna be the first one, then we go.
So, I'm
I'm
not interested. So he said, the answer is, I understand many are existing clients. Initially had the same reaction until I had a chance to show them what a dramatic difference a person in financial review can make. Let's get together and talk. This might be a way for you to be good.
And then we'll go around.
All right? So, I'm not interested.
So the
I
first one, I'm not
understand
interested.
many of my existing clients initially had the same reaction until I had a chance to show them what a dramatic difference a personal financial review can make. Let's get together and talk.